everybody, this is Macy.
And Rachel, and you're listening to the Farmington Public Library podcast, where we keep you in the loop of all the library happenings.
And up to date on all the books that should be on your to-read list. The following content does not reflect the views or opinions of the City of Farmington or its employees. Hi everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Farmington Public Library podcast. We are still super excited to be doing this, and we loved receiving all the feedback and commentary from our first episode, and we really hope that you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed doing it. If you listened to our last episode, you would remember that we started off the episode with talking about the summer reading program that we have every single year, which is a super popular program of ours. But something a lot of people don't know is that we also have the winter reading program, which is going on right now.
Yeah, so we are playing Trivial Pursuit in a way this year for the winter reading program. This program is for ages 16 and up. All you need to do to play is to come to the library and pick up a Trivial Pursuit wheel. And you take that home, and there are 6 categories that you can read a book in. Audiobooks count, ebooks, regular books. It started this month, and it's going on until March 2nd. So as long as you have your wheel turned in and filled out by March 2nd, you are going to be entered into the drawing for the prize.
Yeah. And I know with the summer reading program, there's always a lot of different choices for the prizes. But for the winter reading program, isn't it just one standard prize that you could potentially win, or how does that work?
Every book you read equals an entry to the grand prize, and the grand prize is going to be either a Walmart gift card or Amazon.
Oh, cool.
So it's a $50 gift card.
Cool. Yeah. I know that during the summer reading program, we get a lot of patrons up at the desk who always ask for recommendations or suggestions on what books to read for the program. And so, of course, we have suggestions that we always like to give. But I know sometimes patrons like to find the book themselves. They just kind of want an idea for a category, and they like being able to go out into the stacks and find the book themselves.
That's true.
And so something that I recommend to patrons is right by the front desk, we have our new bookshelf, which is books from the last 4 months that we've gotten in. And one side is nonfiction, one side is fiction. And so with that in mind, I think you and I both have some new book recommendations that are on the new bookshelf now.
Oh yeah, always. Always have new book recommendations.
So I know for me, I recently read This Spells Love by Kate Robb, which could be categorized as a romantic comedy. Also has the parallel universe Groundhog Day element to it. As in
like a light fantasy almost.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's normal life.
Yeah.
Everything in normal life. It's realistic, except for the fact that the main character, after she has a breakup with her longtime boyfriend, takes a special potion type concoction that her aunt put together for her. She has woken up in a different type of universe where her relationship with her ex never existed.
That's so interesting.
So her life's a lot different. So that's what the book is about. And it's about her choosing between 2 lives. So will it make you question your life choices? Maybe, if you're in your mid-20s like me. It may make you question your life choices up to this point. But it was, at the end of the day, a lighthearted, cute read with some, I guess, fantasy undertones with the whole potion type thing.
Those are always fun, though.
Yeah, but I definitely recommend it.
Nice. One book that is on our new bookshelf and on my holds list is called Grey Mist Fair by Francesca Zappia. I think that's how you say it. I am a fantasy lover, so this is a young adult title that caught my eye. It is kind of a dark retelling of some Brothers Grimm fairy tales that are kind of mixed together, maybe some lesser known ones, I think. And it's kind of like one part fantasy, one part murder mystery.
Oh, neat.
So I'm kind of excited about it. Haven't read it yet, but soon.
Yeah.
When it's available. Hi, we'd like to share a quick message about our January craft programs. Every January, the Farmington Public Library holds our Craftstravaganza program. Craftstravaganza is a celebration of the craft programs we've had over the last year. Kids ages 3 to 12 and adults 16 plus can sign up in person or over the phone to receive one of those projects as a take-home kit. All sign-ups require a library card. Kit pickup is happening now, so sign up today. okay, now that we've talked about some of our more recent holds that we're excited to read, let's get into some books coming out in the next 6 months that we're excited for and that we are looking forward to reading.
Yes.
So what is one that you are excited about in the next 6 months?
One book that I've been dying to read is Emily Henry, the queen of banter herself in romantic comedy. She's coming out with a book on April 23rd. It's titled Funny Story. Obviously, it's going to be about some type of romantic couple, but the premise for it sounds really good. So I'm really excited for that. And I also just love Emily Henry.
Yeah. If you already love an author, usually, you're waiting for their next title. What's your favorite Emily Henry?
Oh, that's hard.
That's
hard. Yeah, because I like them all. That's a really hard question.
Oh, sorry.
Her most recent one was Happy Place. And I really, really enjoyed Happy Place. I felt like it was... I feel like with each book that she has come out with, they've gotten more mature in the sense of her writing is more mature. It's a little more complicated in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The plot for Happy Place kind of came out of nowhere, and I really liked that. However, I think there's a part of me that I just have a soft spot for book lovers.
Because that does sound like a title that we would like.
Yes, it's about a literary agent and an editor, I believe, and he's just such a grumpy guy, and she isn't. In a lot of romantic comedy books, the guy is always grumpy and the girl is always sunshiny. But what I like about Book Lovers is the female character in this book is not sunshiny. She's not grumpy, but she's not your typical sunshiny girl either. The long answer to your question of what my favorite Emily Henry book is, it's a tie between Book Lovers and Happy Place.
Yes, yeah, I'll have to read. I kind of want to read Book Lovers. I think that one.
Now
sounds
you've
good.
read one of hers.
Beatrude.
And that one's really good.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It's kind of a lengthier romantic comedy book, but I still enjoyed it. And that one was, I believe, about a writer or two writers.
Yeah,
that had like a rivalry, I think. So
they did.
Yes.
You know, Emily Henry has said in many interviews that her books, she wants to end happy. She wants the couple to get together. That's a given. She's a romance writer. The couples get together. But she wants to do it in such a way that her readers are still inclined to keep reading the books, even though they know the ultimate ending.
Yeah. I think that's what makes a good romantic contemporary book, probably.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So I'm really excited for that one. Another one I'm really excited for is Ruth Ware. She is what some people have coined as the modern day Agatha Christie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's her nickname.
Well, I'll have to read one of hers.
In the book world. She is coming out with a book called One Perfect Couple on May 21st of this year. I don't have any idea what the book is about. I don't know what the summary is. I haven't read it, but I'm a big fan of Ruth Ware, so I'm excited for that one as well.
So she's like an automatic read for whatever comes out.
She is, yeah. Which ones are you excited for?
This year? I'm most excited for Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. She is typically a young adult author, but she's really good at world building for fantasy. If you've ever heard of Six of Crows.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so she's really good at just creating these great fantasy worlds, but this one actually takes place in 16th century Spain. So it's got like this historical fiction mixed in with this magic and fantasy stuff. And she said it's like a little bit based on some of her family history. So I think that's kind of interesting. And I'm just excited to see what she's put together because she has really great world building. And Shadow and Bone, I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of that.
That's her series too. And I like Six of Crows better if I had to pick. But again, the world building is really great and very well thought out. So I'm excited to see what kind of stuff she's going to include in her historical fiction. So, yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think one book that you and I are probably both excited to come out, even though we do not know the title, we don't know if it will be released this year.
Oh my goodness, no.
Is the third book in the super popular Fourth Wing series.
Yeah.
So no one has any information about it. I know that there is a published date established.
Oh, really?
but they're just not allowed to release it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
But no one has any information, just that it's the third installment in a super popular series that came out last year about a world of dragon riders and super fantasy type series. Yeah. And it's been really popular.
A little bit like the Hunger Games, but with dragons in some sense. At least the first one. And she put out 2 last year.
She did.
So if it comes this year, I mean, that's fast, but I wouldn't be upset.
I hope it comes this year. I just want a date of when I can mark a date on my calendar,
We're going to announce it soon. I'm going to be surprised no matter if she announces it this year or not, honestly.
Are there any other books you're excited for this year?
Nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head, but I know that I'll just be excited about a lot of books as the year continues.
We wanted to take a quick minute to share about an upcoming event here at the library. As stop 13 of their book tour, authors Lynette Eason and Deborah Rainey will be at the library on February 5th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is not a ticketed event, and we hope to see you there.
Okay, so since this whole episode is about 2024, we thought we would take a minute to talk about our personal reading goals for the year. So what are yours for this year?
I would say I have one main goal in mind for this year, and it isn't an amount of books that I want to read, but my main goal this year is every month I want to try to read one nonfiction book. It's not difficult for me to get into nonfiction. I enjoy reading nonfiction. However, it's a lot easier for me to read fiction books. And last year, I was looking over what books I read at the end of last year, and I didn't read as much nonfiction as I'd like to do, and I think it's just because I read so much fiction, it really outweighed the nonfiction that I read. So because of that, because I do want to be more intentional about the nonfiction books I read, my goal for 2024 is not to read a certain amount of books, but every month I want to read at least one nonfiction book. So that's my goal.
Yeah, that's a good goal. I feel like quantity is like goals are always like a little bit pressuring, so you don't like, it's more about like what you want to expand your reading maybe, and then like a number for me too. So I
agree. And I think too, not that I think quantity goals are bad. I think they're good. I mean, I have one, I'm sure you have one, a lot of people have them, but for me sometimes I feel like, especially towards the end of the year, if you're far off from reaching that quantity goal, you almost rush through books that you're reading them, but you miss the experience of reading them.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
True. I definitely did that last year, so I get it.
For sure.
Yeah, so I feel like my goals for this year is maybe just to expand my genres a little bit, because I am a huge fantasy reader. I read fantasy in like every age group whenever possible, and sometimes they're very similar. So I think this year I want to try to do more nonfiction. I'm not going to put like a limit on that, and then maybe a little bit more mystery. I'm not a huge mystery reader.
Love mystery.
Yeah, I know. So maybe we could talk about more mysteries, because I'm hopefully going to read some more.
Sure. Would you say with the nonfiction books that you read, what type of nonfiction do you gravitate towards?
That's funny that you asked that, because I'm very specific about it, and I usually read comedian nonfiction, or like memoirs. Yeah, like memoirs that are comedians, or I guess I read that Britney Spears one was the last nonfiction I read. So sometimes if it's like a something that's going to interest me, like a singer that I like, or a movie, star, whatever. So that's. But I feel like I need to go back to my roots of reading history sometimes in nonfiction, because I do love a good history nonfiction. So I may put some of those in my to read.
Well, I love a good memoir. I think memoirs are addictive to a certain degree, because, let me explain why I think they're addictive. The thing is that whenever you read about something taking place, you were not there. So you'll never actually know if that's what's really happened.
True.
I think that there is an addictive quality to reading something, because you want to know the truth, but you'll never actually know if that's really what happened.
So on your to read nonfiction list, do you have books in mind already for that, or are you kind of just going to pick as the year goes on?
I would have to look at my Goodreads list to answer that question.
You already have some on there? Good.
But I do have a couple in mind. My nonfiction for January is a book about the sisterhood of the CIA, but I'm more of a let me read about someone's life type of nonfiction reader.
So thanks everybody for joining us on this second episode of our podcast.
Yes.
And just as a fun little question we're going to put out there, let us know either on Spotify or in our social media pages on the comments what titles you are most excited for this year.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
If you're hearing this message, you listened to the whole episode.
What we really should say is thank you for listening, but as much as we love having listeners, we would love it even more if we saw you at the library.
For questions, call us at 573-756-5779.